And I'll bring this meeting of the Urbana Public Television Commission to order at 12:01 or maybe 12 o'clock and 30 seconds on December 11th, 2015. Would you call the roll?
I'd be happy to. Commissioner Folk?
Present.
Commissioner Cinder?
Present.
Commissioner Mancuso?
Here.
Commissioner Fuller?
Present.
Commissioner Inskeep?
Present.
Commissioner Polk and Commissioner Wadsworth are not here. Andrew may or may not make it, he said, and we do have a quorum.
Does anyone have any modifications to the agenda that they'd like to make? Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Nope. The agenda is approved as written. And next step is approval of the minutes from September 11th, 2015.
I move the minutes be approved.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to correspondence.
There was no correspondence to the commission during the past quarter.
Slow quarter. And then moving on to audience participation. There's also no audience, so we can go on to unfinished business. The staff report. Sorry, I missed staff report. Apologize. Please,
Okay,
the highlight of the meeting.
Thank you. I wanted you to know that both Peter Folk and Andrew Wadsworth were reappointed as UPTV commissioners, and your terms expired June 30th of 2018. As I mentioned at the last commission meeting, the City Council did formally approve the formation of a UPTV Community Foundation Fund. I learned earlier this week that the paperwork is now complete with that. This means that over the next few months, Jason and I will be working to develop policies and procedures about underwriting on UPTV. We'll be deciding on initial target programs. We'll be doing the research involved in formulating a rate card for the station. And then we'll start making contacts. This is one of the topics I'm going to bring up at tomorrow's membership meeting, just to get people's feedback on what they see, how they see that fitting into UPTV, and I'm certainly interested in hearing any commissioner comments on the same topic. I'll move on very quickly just to talk about some of the programs in the past quarter. We are doing a holiday market menu weekly. Jason is continuing with a new season of Urbana High School sports, and he also recorded the 2015 Homecoming Parade, which we've been running. Jason and I both attended the 15th anniversary celebration of the Independent Media Center in Champaign-Urbana. We both took part in several of the panel discussions, and Jason also recorded them, and we've been airing a couple of those on UPTV as well. Sandra Otten met with Jason and I. She's a member of the board of directors of WEFT, the community radio station. We are trying to work on collaboration more with all of the community-based media in town, but specifically with WEFT. We share programs. We run some programs that WEFT does. WEFT runs some programs that we have. So our first goal is to try to do some cross-promotion. For instance, on Democracy Now! We run it in the morning, WEFT runs it in the afternoon. And it's a very logical place for us to each promote the other's broadcast of that program. And we'll see where it goes from there. On a completely separate topic, Sandra Otten is now the station manager for a low-power TV station that is going on the air here. It's called WBXC. It has 26,000 potential viewers in the Champaign-Urbana area, and although it is a for-profit brokered station, they are required to carry several hours a week of community-produced programs. So we've entered into an agreement with Sandra for her. They will be running Art Now, Not Another Sports Show, which is the WPGU program that our producer Jacob won an award for, Real Reviews with Chike Coleman, and News from Neptune. And they'll be airing those on Saturday and Sunday mornings on BXCP. And we'll be getting credit, of course, as the producer.
Yeah, just a matter of curiosity, are low-power TV stations required to be digital, or are they analog still?
You have me at a loss. I don't know. Peter, do you know?
I believe everything's digital now, but I didn't think to ask when I saw that going through the IMC stuff.
Yeah. I assumed it was digital, but I'll find out. It's a good question.
Well, the reason it comes to mind is I think there are some low-power stations still on the air in analog form that I've run into in scanning the dial.
Do current TVs still handle analog input? Okay, interesting.
The information that I have from Sandra says that it's on the airwaves at 46.1, 46.2, and 46.3.
So that's digital.
So that's digital, right?
Does that broadcast from the IMC?
I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know.
I can probably answer that. It does not broadcast from the IMC. It actually everything runs from and is programmed out of Dallas, Texas, and that's where I send the videos and everything. That's where they do all the programming. And then one of the servers is also located here in Sandra's office, which is near downtown Champaign.
Where is the actual antenna?
That is near downtown Champaign at Sandra's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those broadcasts start tomorrow, by the way. So they're on from 9:30 until 11 on Saturday and 9:30 to 11 on Sunday morning. We are currently running new programs that include the ACE Awards from last year, the Humanitarian Awards program from this year. Jacob Bernard recorded the Westville Labor Day Parade. We're very happy that State Representative Carol Ammons is now doing a regular feature on UPTV. It's a module called Stately Speaking, in which she addresses topics of legislative concern to local residents. We're really pleased with that. She also sponsored a talk at the Champaign Public Library called Coal Ash in Your Backyard that we're running as one of several long-form public affairs shows that have been produced by volunteers in the past quarter. We're running one on understanding mass incarceration, one on a law school forum on the ethics of drone warfare, and of course the YMCA Friday forums that Carletta Donaldson is recording and producing. We also are airing a public meeting on the Muhammad Aquifer. Jason did features on the Walk and Roll to School Day and some fire department things as well. We moved our open house membership meeting to tomorrow from last Saturday for a variety of reasons. It was kind of a last-minute thing, but that now enables me to remind you that if you're free tomorrow at noon, come by for some birthday cake. And anybody who's watching at home, this is a meeting open to the public. It'll be here in the City Council chambers tomorrow at noon. We'll be celebrating UPTV's 20th birthday. And we'll also have a short membership meeting. We'll talk about some of the upcoming things in the year here for UPTV and the membership, and get to know each other as producers and neighbors. There's one other thing I wanted to mention, and then I'd be happy to take any questions, and then we have a clips reel for you. I had an email exchange with a commissioner this week about the role and function of the UPTV Commission. It was a valuable exchange for me because it enabled me to to formulate in my mind what exactly we value most about the UPTV Commission. And it boils down to two things, one of which is that it stands ready to serve in the event of controversial issues that might be brought about by our free speech policies. This happened a number of years ago, and the Commission played a very important role in facilitating dialogue between the community and the station and the city. So that is an extremely important function, and it's kind of, you're always standing there ready in the eventuality. The other is that of feedback and advice and affirmation. It's one of the few times that we actually get, people saying, "Hey, that's great stuff." And it occurred to me when I wrote that affirmation is a two-way street, and I just wanted to thank you all for your service as commissioners and tell you how much that we appreciate your being here. So, any questions?
Yes, with regard to the community foundation, you mentioned underwriting policies. I assume this is set up to also allow just gifts to the foundation?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Shall we roll the clips reel?
What's up there, kids? This here's Bill Mann speaking from the punk rock puppet band Green Jello, and you're watching Urbana Public Television.
What issue are you hearing about most in the district office regarding the budget impasse?
The biggest issue we've heard is the lack of light heap services and PIP, which are both energy assistance programs. Those programs really help seniors, families, working families who can't afford to cover the total cost of energy services. And so we get, I would say each day we get probably 2 or 3 calls about assistance that's needed to keep people's utilities connected.
What is it that they're doing right here with these to the white car? What are they doing there?
So with this white car being on its side, there's a significant risk that it could fall either one way or the other. So we have immobilization struts on our rig, and what we're doing is we're ensuring that it won't. That way we can safely access this other patient. It makes it safer for them, and it makes it safer for us.
This IMC would never have existed had I not come to town. And it would never have existed if Danielle hadn't come to town. And it wouldn't have existed if Molly Stentz hadn't come to town. And it certainly would never have existed if there wasn't a few extra glasses of wine poured around a kitchen table back in '99 or early 2000. It never would have gotten off the ground in the first place if it wasn't for the School for Designing a Society, if it wasn't for Mark and for Susan. It absolutely would never have been properly structured if it weren't for WEFT.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Deborah Holt, and this program is called Living It Up. And we call it that because we want to build you up, we want to lift you up, and we want your life to be looking up. And so we share the things we do for that reason.
And then when it comes to dropping off and picking up, we've made some changes around the schools recently. Okay. Thomas Paine is our big one, where we actually redesigned the entire driveway parking lot area for a better drop-off situation so that kids are getting off curbside now and they're not crossing traffic. And that's an important one, that when you don't want to have a kid jumping out of the street side of a car, right, and then having to make their way around a car, you want them getting out as close to the curb as possible.
I said, what about human rights? How about the right of the innocent Arab brother not to be killed? And the KGB colonel said, rights? We took one right. We saved 3 rights from being violated. By my arithmetic, that's 2 rights net that were not violated. I said, you know, you might have missed something about rights, or did Amnesty International give you guys the award for protection of human rights that year?
They just don't realize how quick it is and how fun it is to walk. You know, students who have done exercise in any form before they get to school, their brains work a little sharper during that day. It's like you want to get a good night's sleep, you want to eat well, and you want to exercise. And walking or riding your bike to school is a great way to integrate it into your daily routine.
It still seems that we are sitting at the master's table waiting for scraps that fall instead of, and really okay with the role of a servant. And it's somehow taught in formal education. So in that particular thought, are we, right now in 2016, are we still beating the same drum, or are we doing enough to be able to tell our future generations, well, this is not necessarily what you want to do, you want to go, and this is how we go about building our own thoughts.
You know, and I see that with people who argue anything and everything about to justify, you know, the termination, and I just kind of throw my hands up in the air, and it's like, dude, why don't you just save us all a ton of time and say, I hate his politics, therefore I'm glad he got fired.
Que d'être chez vous, enfin, après 1 année et demie de travail et de collaboration, on arrive enfin à venir se rencontrer. Merci à Laurel, merci à toute l'équipe du Sister Committee Program, et je suis très fier d'être dans cette merveilleuse librairie. Je vous embrasse.
So what were you saying in English?
Now you have to translate.
Okay, we'll figure that one out.
Can I compliment the use of B-roll in the Cops Corner footage? That was very nice.
It was indeed. Jason does a great job with that. Oh, I'm sorry. I had one other thing I wanted to mention. It's a technical change, and actually I have the IT department to thank for this. IT has set up an FTP from our editing stations so we can transfer files from our editing machines to our Nexus automation system without first putting them on a thumb drive, taking them out, walking them over here, and sticking them in the Nexus. And this has greatly improved our workflow. So I just wanted to mention that too. So.
Clips reel was great as always.
Yeah, I'm continually amazed by the quality and the diversity of the productions. I also had a technical question to ask. This may have been available for some time, but I'm not certain. Is there currently a way for producers to upload video to you without physically bringing it to the station?
We get a number of programs that way. Jason, can you do you want to speak to that more directly?
Sure. We are pretty wide open. There's a number of producers that will upload things to such as Google Drive or FileMail.com or Dropbox. Basically, if they can get it to us in one way or form, we'll make it work. So we have members that do that on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. When they produce shows, they just come in. They don't come in here physically, but they send us an email, and it's a link to Google Drive or FileMail or Dropbox or whatever they prefer, and send it to us that way.
Yeah, I have to say I have some mixed feelings about that because that means we have less face time with our volunteers in the community, so I miss that, but I have to say it does improve the timeliness of the program submissions so much, so it's a trade-off, I guess.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Just great work, especially thanks especially for covering so many relevant political and civic issues here in town. It's vital, and I appreciate it a lot as a viewer and as a commissioner.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and you know, can't say enough about our volunteers because they're the ones that make that possible. We wouldn't be able to do, you know, 1/10 of what we air if it weren't for interested community volunteers, so we should thank them too.
It might be interesting someday to do the kind of. I know that the City of Champaign runs on their PEG channel. They run kind of things that highlight the staff. Might be interesting to do a similar thing for the volunteers. Run quick, 5-second shouts out to the individual volunteers, so we can see the face behind the camera.
Yeah, that's one of the things we try to do at the membership meeting for people that show up is we'll be recording spots, so people will get to say I'm Michael Badger, I'm the host of Newsview, and you're watching UPTV, something like that, or holiday greetings.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll probably film the whole event tomorrow and see if we can get something useful out of that too. So.
Excellent. Any other comments? Moving on to, audience participation, which I did out of order, but there's still no audience. So, and the unfinished business, has there been any motion on the policies and procedures?
Yes, and it's motion backwards.
Okay.
It is, now we have not just the original policies and procedures revisions to revise, but we also are going to have to vet it for accuracy and any changes that are going to need to be made as regards underwriting in the community fund. I spoke with Commissioner Cinder earlier, and he had a good suggestion, I thought.
Since this has been on our agenda for so long, and it's apparently going to be a while until we can get to it, due to the number of things that remain to be done, I move that the revisions to the UPTV policies and procedures be laid on the table.
Could you explain what that means?
It means it no longer appears on our agenda until such time as a commissioner moves that it be taken up from the table.
Discussion comes after a second, so I will second for the purposes of discussion. Yeah. I don't see anything particularly wrong with that, but it also serves as a reminder that it's still on the table or off the table. That's a very confusing concept, Dale. You should talk with Roberts about that and try and.
Next time I see him.
Okay. To maintain it on the agenda, to me, is a little bit of a kick every quarter that at some point we need to roll up our sleeves on this issue. But it may be present enough for Jake when he gets to it.
Yeah, I don't think it's the commission at this point that needs to roll up its sleeves. It's other entities. And I just find it a little bit of an embarrassment to have it there for so long. It feels like we're not getting our business done, and there's nothing we can do about it until somebody else moves.
It's been seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Jake, do you have any input on that? Do you have a preference?
I would endorse tabling it because it embarrasses me too. It has been one thing after another as far as trying to bring that to fruition, and it seems like every time we get towards doing that, something else happens that makes it, that sends it back to the drawing board. So at this point, I would really pretty much like to just start over, incorporate the legal department's suggestions for formatting. They were unhappy with the format that I had chosen originally to present the revisions in. This would allow us to do the underwriting stuff all at the same time. The fee schedule is separate, so that's not necessarily an issue, but it would also enable us to revise that to reflect the out-of-state membership fee that was instituted this year. So I would endorse Dale's motion, but that's the commission's pleasure. Whether it's on the agenda or not for next time, it's something we'll be working on over the next few months. So.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So that was approved 4-0 with one non-voting. Moving on to new business, equipment purchases. You guys didn't buy very much this quarter.
Jason will take this one.
You are right. We didn't buy too much. I was putting this together yesterday, and I looked at Jake, and I said, this is not very long at all. The only thing I bought was purchased last week or the week before, about a week and a half ago, just some power supplies for our cameras. And, we have equipment purchases laid out for this fiscal year that, we'll obviously be making in the next couple of months. No equipment that was due to be purchased, basically went bad to where it was a rush to purchase it or anything. But we'll be purchasing the equipment that we've laid out in the past, within the next 6 months or so. But this is all I got for this quarter.
And next on the agenda is commissioners' comments. Any comments from the various commissioners? I guess I'll say that I'm glad to be liked, and I'm happy to stand by, but I also recognize that sometimes these meetings are a burden on the staff. So if you have any interest in making them twice yearly or something like that, you should feel free to bring it up.
I appreciate that. It worked out well to be able to cancel the summer meeting just because of work schedules for the staff. By and large, we appreciate these meetings, and we enjoy the fact to share what we're doing and to elicit comments. And certainly, I think as we move forward with any kind of financial support of UPTV from outside sources, I would like to see the commission, involved every step of the way along those lines. So, if I feel that it's a waste of everyone's time, I would certainly suggest we cancel a meeting. Otherwise, the quarterly seems to work well for us.
Great. Any other comments from the commission? All right, and the next regularly scheduled meeting is March 11th, 2016, noon in these City of Urbana Council chambers. And we hope to see you all on the same channel at the same time next quarter.
And a reminder, again, the open house annual membership meeting tomorrow, Saturday, December 12th from noon to 1 here in the Urbana City Council chambers.
And I'll mention that City of Urbana Council chambers are right across from the co-op and the holiday market in the Lincoln Square. So you could kill two birds with one stone, go there, get some vegetables and some handicrafts, and then come over here for some birthday cake. So it's certainly what I plan to do. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. All right, good. The meeting is adjourned.